Episode number 10.
People want to be engaged, and we're a society where if we're not compelled, we're clicking into something else. We're doing something else immediately.
Welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff, where we talk about solutions, tips, and tricks for social marketers and businesses.
Well, hello and welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff. I hope you guys are ready because I have my man on the line, Doug Lehman. Doug, are you ready to be real?
I'm ready to keep it real, putting it to you in layman's terms.
Yeah, I love it. Doug is a blogger and also a talk show host, and most importantly, he's the brand ambassador for social video marketing. Tell me, Doug, we've given the listeners just a little bit about you, but give us some more, my man.
Well, I appreciate the accolades, and I'm going to break it to you in layman's terms. That's my moniker. Last name is Lehman, and what I am is I've been passionate about leveraging social selling, but really using that channel of video to help tell stories and close more accounts. You know, I came from a corporate background. I worked for companies like IBM, Sun Microsystems, Cisco, to name a few. I'm going to date myself. But about 4 years ago, I made a pivot. I said, look, I'm going to go out on my own, love social. And I said, you know what? I'm going to put a couple of videos out there to promote myself as a salesman and trainer. But guess what? More people paid more attention to the video than my degree. So I thought, man, I'm onto something. Leveraging video with social media to engage your customers. And I'm pioneered, trying to be the brand ambassador for the social selling video guy. That's the short answer. But
I love it.
You know, I love video, I love social media, and I love sales.
Yeah, and I think there's such a huge need for businesses to create videos answering their top questions that they're asked, especially in sales. Like your top, get the sales team together and say, what are the top 10 questions people ask us? And let's maybe answer those in video and put them on our website so that maybe people can answer, get those questions and be more informed before they even call, and it speeds up that whole conversion process like we were talking about earlier. If you have frequently asked questions, and with video, there's pretty much unlimited topics you can do, but to be helpful, I think the biggest thing is most of the sales teams right now are lacking in what you're doing.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. Be helpful and obviously ask questions. In sales and marketing, you've got to be able to bring value to your customers, and your customers have questions. So if you don't provide insightful information that's above the obvious, then they're going to go on to the next client. Today's customers, they go online, they talk to their peers, they go to Google, they do their research, they know so much more about your products and services, so they need answers to their questions. And I think video or social media and what you do with your company, being able to tell the story but solve a problem in a question format, that's what your customers want. They want answers.
Absolutely. And give them answers on video, I think is it's a huge area where content creators, if you're listening right now, Doug is the man. And if you guys are at the end of this podcast, you guys need to reach out to him because he is doing what he is preaching right now. And social selling is converting. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this. Now tell us, can you take us to a Be Real story? Tell us a time where you feel like you've maybe failed at social marketing.
I think, let's talk about the word social. I put out content, but I didn't have the implications of search engine optimization. I may have put out a blog post or written a blog post or a video, but I didn't impact the keywords, the tags, the description. So exposure, I limited myself. So it's like not having your LinkedIn profile fully filled out, but same thing for video, not having it fully tagged so people can find you. So right. I'm learning that as we all learn in social media marketing and SEO. I don't want to get really heavy into the analytics, but I sold myself short. I didn't use the tools that were out there, and building that socially. So I think that's a room for improvement, which I've done over the years. But I used to put content all the time, but you know what? I wasn't leveraging the simple thing of a title, a right title, and descriptions and all that metadata stuff. So
yeah, and Upworthy, they write I think it's 25 titles per blog, and they pick one of the top titles that they write. And that's how they've become so viral on Facebook, is with every single Upworthy article, they take time to spend and put 25 different titles, because how important that title is now. When people see stuff, it's based on the title.
Yeah, the thing is, I guess you asked what the original question was, what have I failed in social? I guess I wasn't social enough with my network and leveraging SEO. But I've learned that the other thing you can fail if you don't do anything. You can sit here and ponder every freaking blog post, every content marketing piece, but if you don't execute and don't put it out, it's still sitting there. Make mistakes, but learn from your mistakes and keep it moving.
Absolutely. Keep it moving. I love that, because it's so true. It's like, just because one video didn't make it or didn't get the impressions you wanted or things like that, you got to do the next one, and just because you didn't get love on one blog, you got to do the next one, and you can't get frustrated. They say that after usually 3 pieces of content, people give up. So that's after 3 videos, after 3 blogs, podcasts. After only 3, they abandon, and it's really about keeping that flow going. And I think you just never know when that next big viral video is going to hit. And then all of a sudden, your whole catalog is now being seen by millions of people.
And people will fall back on your other content. I think what's
exactly
social media 101, coming from an agency perspective that you have, one of the things that you when you talk to potential clients or working on social campaigns, it's like you need consistency. It's not one post is going to do it. You've got to be on your radar. It's not a one-hit wonder. It takes time. It takes time to build up your network. It takes time to engage your customers. So you'll be a subject matter expert. Socially, people will come to you then.
Absolutely. And I think the videos that you're creating today are planting seeds for 5 years from now. And it's not going to be just about the people that saw it today. It's about the fact that you built a collaboration of videos. And now, because you are 500 videos in, now all those videos are being seen, just like, some of the top podcasters, some of the top video creators. Macklemore's one. I remember seeing Macklemore when his videos had under 100,000 views. Now you go to those same videos, they have 50 million or 100 million views.
And you know what? And one thing about that is obviously people see it and they share it. And that's what I love about what your firm does, your company does, and social today. And if you're not on it, you're missing the opportunity, because it's sharing that content. Macklemore's video, I like it, I watch it, I share it to my 3,000 Twitter followers or 8,000 or whatever. But it's that social engagement. That's where people miss the money. It only takes one piece of content, but if it's shared correctly and leveraged right, that. And repurposing it. Like you said, 4 years ago, if you did a video, it didn't take off. Well, if you're taking off now, you're getting a social influence. People are going to go back and see that video 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Thrift Shop brought them a bunch. Thrift Shop has a couple 100 million views, but it brought views to all their channel, and obviously has given them a sustaining career because they've done it independently. But now take us to a real moment. Take us to a point where you feel like your mindset was completely changed with social media.
I think when I first started out, I had like 5 Twitter followers or whatever when you first start out. It's just... everybody, I'm going to talk on the topic of Twitter. Everybody you get this all the time, the people that are they're negative about it. I don't want to do Twitter. I don't really care. But the idea of social listening, and what I found out is that even though I had 5 followers, it was such a tool to listen to what's going on in the world in news. So I just think it's a micro blogging. So I just got so excited about, I didn't care about how many tweets I had out or what I was pushing. I was looking at it from a news source. Yep. It's instant information. Yep. If there's a weather conditions in your area, you put in the right hashtag, you find an instant information. So I don't know if I answered your question, but I just think the power of social it makes the world smaller. And every day I'm inspired by social. Look, I didn't know you 3 weeks ago.
Nope.
I knew you through Jack, a mutual host, Jack Kozakowski from Acton Software. And I know I butchered Jack's last name, but
Jack is the man.
Jack is the man. But Jack and I connected, and I was intrigued about some stuff he does. But he was on your show, and I'm like,
yep,
I got to reach out to this Travis. I mean, I like what he's doing, and lo and behold, that's social. It makes the world a small place. What, you're in Fresno, I'm in the ATL, and we're just doing this East Coast West Coast thing socially.
And anytime you need something now, I'll be here to help,
Yeah.
and vice versa. And it's so true. It's that personal connection. It's not about 1 to 500 billion people. It's 1 to 1.
Right.
And the chief of Procter and Gamble, I remember in 2009, had a quote when we first started our business that of what he believed about social, and it was he wanted to have a one-on-one individual relationship with 7 billion people. And it wasn't about I want to have a one-on-one to 7 billion people. It was more about I want to have one-on-one, and making that person feel like what the content they're putting out, the relationship is there, and that person is going to feel comfortable talking to you and taking it offline, I like to say, which is even still using Skype and things like that, but taking it off the traditional matter of a computer and taking it to more of the old school, like we're picking up a phone and talking.
Oh, exactly. And just to kind of expound on that, one of the things I do is video book reviews. And
Nice.
and I did a video book review for Eric Qualman's book, Socialnomics. You've seen those videos.
Oh yeah,
and
they're awesome.
So Eric Qualman, Eric's a friend of mine, okay? But long story short, I just started doing book reviews when I first started using Twitter. And I did a couple book reviews. Well, McGraw-Hill, the publisher, saw me doing these book reviews, so they said, hey, we'll send you free books every month. Just do some reviews. Wow. Eric Qualman's people got a hold of that. He saw my videos, and we picked up next thing you know, and he's a keynote speaker, nationally known, social media advocate, and, author of 3 best-selling books, and he's working more. And finally, we picked up the phone and we talked, and mainly talked about social media marketing and basketball and whatever. But it was cool. And now I've gained that. I did the same thing with Brian Solis's book. So, and I've got a chance to meet Brian face to face. But leveraging that social by doing a book review, they saw that, but their publisher saw it. It's not a point of me grandstanding and getting exposure, but it's taking that conversation to a face to face conversation or picking up the phone.
And with your video book review, how long were you typically reviewing it?
Well, I read the book, but then I put it on 2 channels. I put it on the Amazon or Barnes and Nobles, but there's certain guidelines you can't. And I've seen some of my video work. You can't really sell the product. They just want hardcore. What's in the book? What's the facts?
Gotcha.
But I put it on Amazon. But then I do another in layman's terms version, which you've seen some of my work. And if you haven't, I like to do a lot of animations. I'm a loud guy. I have fun with it. So I try to give the hype into it, kind of like a one-man hype machine.
Nice.
And so 2 types of videos, and then I do it on Amazon. They've got guidelines, and I understand that. But I just like to share it socially, and that's where this whole thing explodes.
Wow, that's really cool about the video reviews, because I think there's a huge area now with obviously reputation management for maybe businesses to really have the ability for video reviews. And instead of just having a 5-star review, for you to tell your experience via video, and so that the person that's now maybe going to go, and maybe Yelp will be listening to us right now, or maybe Facebook right now, because they have an awesome review section, and maybe they would make it available eventually for people to be able to review a business with a video.
I think that's where we're coming. And a lot of, at the end of the day, I can talk video all day long, but would you rather read a 25-page white paper or watch a 1 to 2 minute video that gives you a review of everything you need to know? Let's face it.
Absolutely.
Let's face it.
Let's be real. Let's be real.
Let's keep it real. We're a TV generation. You could be a millennial. You could be a baby boomer. You could be 70 years old. You could be 5 years old. You're watching stuff, and you want information now. That's why I like to. Reading's fundamental. I like books. Hell, I've been talking about doing video book reviews, but I still rather watch a video book review than read a long review. Personally, right. I don't have time for it. I say I have time. I read, but the point is, I just think it's more compelling, more engaging, leveraging video for print and books. That's just one option.
Yeah, it's also just like easier on your mind and eyes and everything, just to click play and let the person talk and watch it, and then versus having to sit there and squint and read, and you know what I mean? If you're into a book, I understand. Obviously, I like books too, and I completely agree that there's nothing like physically picking up a book and reading it. But when you're reading a review or something like that, unless it's really quick, which is easy, quick little, like you said, little quick bullet points or something, the video allows you to really kind of get that feedback, but not have to really go through a whole bunch of reading.
Well, a perfect example too, and on the topic of content marketing, your podcast right now. Okay, that's a tremendous resource because I can listen to your podcast on iTunes, a Stitcher app, on my phone, at my leisure, on time, real time when I want to.
Exactly.
And a lot of people are taking videos. Gary Vee does it. He takes his Ask Gary Vee show and he puts it in a podcast format because there's times when you can't watch a video. You're driving. You can't. I mean, you can, but the point is, but being able to take that video and repurpose it to audio content or vice versa.
Yep.
So I think it's cool. And what you do with your podcast and some of the guests that you're having on and the future guests that you're growing, I mean, that's why I'm here. But the more importantly, it's just another engaging thing. And I like to read. I like text. But if I can hear something in audio, better yet, video that tells the story, man, that's hot.
Yeah, and I think for longer form content, especially like longer form videos, like the 3 to 5 minute video, I think personally I will spend the attention to focus my, kind of visual on that. But if it's like a 30 or 40 minute video, like a twist, I don't know if you're familiar with This Week in Startups. I like watching those videos because it's a lot of startups and founders and stuff like that and getting their insight, or Pando Daily, which has a lot of entrepreneurs and VCs and a lot of different people happening in Silicon Valley and things like that. But I find that actually a lot of times I'll just listen to the audio, and I'll just have it streaming basically. And I'm not watching the actual, the interview live on the video. I'm just listening to the audio via YouTube.
Exactly.
And it's really cool because I'm productive. I can focus on all my other work I got to get done, but I'm kind of curating my own radio station, if you want to call it, and kind of coming up with the best content that's personal to me. And I usually use YouTube to, subscribe to their channels and then go to, what I need to watch or kind of what the newest subscriptions are, and basically curate my audio listening for the day based on YouTube.
No, absolutely. There's so many ways to go back and forth from the audio, but at the end of the day, it's leveraging storytelling content socially.
Yep. Well, now we're going to get into the mind of Doug Lehman. Yes. And we're going to give some layman's terms and keep us in with some B-realisms. In the perfect world, who is your dream client?
Dream client is, look, I'd like to be positioned as a dream client. I know we talked offline about networks like NBC, CBS. I would love to work in a national media outlet.
Nice.
Nice. So, I love the podcasting. I love doing my YouTube stuff on my channels, but I want to take it to a level where I have more of a captivative audience. I'm not trying to be, the night show talk host, but yeah, quite frankly, I'd like to have that platform and clients like that in the media area.
Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, those guys, that would be a dream job.
It's just something where I'm doing that or working as a client with one of those organizations. I don't have to be the talent, but more of the marketing side. I know that you've got clients, media companies. So I want to talk some of the bigger media, even though I'm all about leveraging the social media and the little guy building his thing and doing their thing. I just would like to get more exposure on a national, global level with that. And with social you can, but I would like to tap into that. That's just an area. That's kind of more of a dream. So the big end media clients.
Nice. Listen up, NBC, CBS, Fox, and ABC. My man Doug is ready to help you and take your social selling to the next level.
Absolutely. I think there's so many things. You watch a TV show, what's hot on TV now, like Scandal or something?
Shark Tank,
Scandal, whatever. The second TV. People are watching these shows and they're tweeting why the shows are going on right now. It's like real-time interactive TV.
Oh, yeah. One of the coolest experiences about that was the Iheartradio Festival about 2 years ago. And my girlfriend wanted to go to the actual festival, but it was too late. So the tickets were, $1,500 or $2,000 for 1 day pass. And it was like, you know what, we'll just watch it and stream it on TV. Well, down at the bottom, it said, tweet us and basically share a photo and tweet us. And all of a sudden we are watching and Bon Jovi's presenting, and me and my big old mug is in a 6 foot tall video projection with my girlfriend right behind Bon Jovi. And we are freaking out because they had this big video wall where they were sharing all these tweets and all these things that people were posting live at the actual festival. And it was just crazy. It was just one of those things that you just never expected.
Now, were you in the video? I mean, you physically, or was it your tweet or text or?
It was actually just my picture. It was just our pictures.
Because I know you go about 6'8", right? So you would Bon Jovi, here's the 5'7" guy talking, height jokes. But No, but it's cool. I get what you're saying though. Until you see
Yeah,
it.
it was unbelievable. It was like we were watching live, we put out a tweet, and then all of a sudden, throughout the next 2 days of the festival, we're up basically on stage with the performers. You know, they had this huge video wall basically where they're pushing all these posts of people, and throughout the 2 day event, we kept seeing ourselves throughout the event on different video screens as we were watching, and it was just unbelievable to feel like you're a part of it watching it at home when, you know, obviously it was just not in the budget to basically go out there on a whim and do it.
Well,
But you still feel like you're part of it.
no, I just came off before we recorded this podcast. I just came off a Hangout, a Google Hangout, right? And they had interaction. They had a contest afterwards. Well, they took that Hangout to Meerkat, and you saw the live feed for the contest winners. I didn't win. It was shout out to Jim Keenan and the Sales Joe, but they took the live hangout, ended, and they went behind the studio scenes of a Meerkat, so people are watching the live stream. I mean, things like live streaming, Meerkat, Periscope, those technologies. Again, it's back to video, but it makes the world a smaller place. I can't afford to go to that rock concert, but maybe somebody's streaming it, you know, holding up their camera, their cell phone, and going to work. So I love it.
And then sharing it, and it's really a new way, I think, for especially like those concerts or venue-based events. And I think that if the concert promoters were smart, they would just create their own channels and stream it through there.
Yeah, and exactly, and that's what you asked the original question about network TV. Back in the day, I'm gonna date myself. You know, before DVRs and stuff, you didn't have an option to record. When TV was on at 8:00 at night, you had to watch it at 8:00 at night. There was no. You know, now people are DVR and they're watching TV at their time. Hulu, Netscape, whenever they feel like watching it. So that's on demand. So networks got to look at leveraging digital snippets of video content to promote, and I think that's where we're going. So people can get it.
Give them a teaser. Give them 5 minutes, 5 minutes of the show, or 10 minutes of the show on their phone on Periscope, or, you know, give them a behind the scenes of your upcoming show, and give them a little teaser.
It's all about engagement, because people have so many options right now to watch, and quite frankly, people's lives are so busy. They want information. They want information now, and they want information when they want it. And if you don't like it, they record it, they DVR it, they watch it. So it's really keeping a captive audience engaged. You know, more things, more hands, more touches visually, I think helps.
Now tell us, in the perfect day, how do you like to start your day?
Oh, get out of bed, first of all. And I not to be facetious, every day I get out and hit the street. I like to get a good little run in, kind of clear my mind early in the morning, check my social channels. But really, my mind is already thinking, you know, so I got to do something active to wake up. And that's walking the dog or going for a run and then checking my social channels.
I love it. I love getting up and getting things moving in the morning. I think it's one of the best ways to start the day. Unfortunately, I don't always get a chance to do a workout or something like that, but I do like doing like the 7-minute app or something where I can just get that blood flowing in the morning. I love walking, getting outside and hearing the birds of nature, things like that, because it kind of takes us into like the old school way.
Exactly.
Before technology.
Well, exactly. And I try to do that prior to, because right there you jump out on that computer screen and you've got your channels up and you're looking at your Hootsuite or your buffer and all your channels, and it's just like, you know what, there's a world going on out there as well. So it's just like you got to experience that. At the meantime, you've got to wake up and do your thing.
Absolutely. Now tell us, what is some of the best advice you've ever received?
I think the best advice that I've received, and I'm constantly learning every day, but everybody says stay focused. I think honing in on your listening skills, being able to listen more and share more every day. I mean, that sounds real simple. Listen more and share, but I try to live by that every day and keep an open mind. So best advice would be, you know, constantly reading, constantly looking for new technologies. So listening, you're never done learning. So active learning and listening. I love podcasts. I love multitasking. You know, I'll go to the gym, but I'll listen to your podcast while I'm on my way to the gym. You know, just multitasking and personal development training.
Absolutely. I think that you hit it on the head when you said listening and sharing, because if you could sum up what social media, in my opinion, really is, it's that. It's you're listening and then you're sharing valuable content. I think a lot of us get caught up in promotions and click-throughs and ROIs and things like that. But the core of it all is like we connected listening and sharing here on the podcast. Is you were listening and sharing our podcast, and I was like, you know what, this guy's awesome. He's living what he is saying here, and he's also, building and giving back without asking for anything. And I got to get him on the show. Okay. And so it's one of those things that because of your a real approach here, we maybe have a lifetime friendship here that will benefit us both. But more than anything, we did it via social.
No, exactly. And it just makes the world a smaller place. But you said three things: that sharing, but bringing value. Because you can see the posers out there that are going to just me, push, pitch, but there's no engagement. It can't go one way. And that's the thing. It takes time. You gotta build a relationship. You just don't ask somebody out to marry them on the first date. You got to date a little bit. You got to build a rapport. Not that I'm asking you out, right? but at the same time, it's just the point. It just sharing content, and I think that's more than anything. There's somebody. You may have an idea, but there's thousands of other people that have other ideas, and that's what I love about social. You got a question, go to Twitter. You're going to get your answer.
Oh, yeah. And I've also found a really cool thing with Twitter. If I've ever wanted someone like a freelancer or a business to hit me up and really kind of start, helping me out for a certain service or things like that, I'll do like a hashtag campaign where I'll send out a couple different tweets. Hey, looking for an iPhone developer, or looking for a freelance graphic artist, looking for a publicist, or, kind of anything I've ever needed. And I found that people are really listening on Twitter to those specific hashtags, and they'll you basically get 5 or 10 people hitting you up, and you can kind of talk to them and see their work. And it's just kind of a new way of almost requesting people services. Hey, looking for kind of a gardener, I imagine eventually in the future. And then all of a sudden you have gardeners listening, like you mentioned, and then reaching back to you and saying, hey, I'd love to help you, let me come by to your house, like kind of making that next step. Not necessarily, all about what I have to say. It's more about, like you mentioned, like listening to the key hashtags around your influence and then helping them.
Yeah, and I love that fact about the hashtags and going to virtual events. One of the things that I do, like they had Social Media World in San Diego last month.
I love Michael Stelzner.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And I couldn't go to the event, okay, and I'm in Atlanta. So what do? I go to Twitter and I start following the hashtag. And I actually do a video introduction. I put the hashtag, and they're like, hey, I'm not at the event. I'm here virtually, but please share some information. People gravitated towards that video, but people were sharing posts. It's like you're there, but you're not there. I mean, nothing beats that face-to-face interaction. But following that hashtag and engaging socially and the visual element, I mean, I'm all about it. And I wasn't at the event, but I saw pictures, I saw blog posts, I saw some video work. And I want to see more of that for conferences, show more video. I'm all on it, but it made me feel like I was closer there than not being there.
Yeah, and if anything, you're becoming a brand ambassador for them for future conferences.
Exactly.
I mean, that's not necessarily like you can always make that conference, but more importantly, you're involved and you're getting pieces of what the conference was about, as well as I think that there's just a huge area where people will be paying micro payments for to attend the event virtually.
Well, I could agree, and it's just a way to make the world a smaller place.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of them, unfortunately, are focused on a greedy approach in some cases because they feel that it's either all or none. It's either free and it's basically sponsored by Toyota, or it's $50 a virtual ticket and you only got 1,000 hyperfans. But if they made it $1 a ticket, virtually, how many more people would be able to afford it?
No, I think make the price more conducive, and then I think if you're not there, leverage the video to make it so have pay-per-view. I think people would pay to hear speakers, possibly.
Oh yeah, Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think there's just what we're talking about today with video. It goes so deep. It's beyond just one area of focus. There's so many different layers that, from customer service to, like you were talking about, live events, to marketing and promotions, to actual just helpful how-tos and things like that. And the list goes on. You could just make funny videos all day with I like how you bring in an animal and have your dog kind of the social sale, kind of helping the whole fun process. And it just adds a little bit more, I don't know. It just adds a little bit more personality, and also people love animals.
Yeah, I pimped the dog. I'm not gonna lie. I put Sage over here. She's looking at me now. Sage, the sales dog. But that whole thing was collaboration, and I'm glad you picked up on that. I wanted to show. One of the things in my videos is I actually do smile, but in my videos I don't do it enough, and that's one of the things I need to work on. So I know that's one of maybe the hot seat questions. I need to smile more, but
nice.
I do smile. But the point is, that whole thing was social collaboration. We talked about Jack and Act-On Software briefly. He has a product that he represents socially, the Chill Puck, and I got on board with the Chill Puck, and it's a device that keeps here's a pitch now. I'm going to the one-man hype machine. You
give it to us.
The Chill Puck, you freeze it. You freeze this little puck device, and you put it on your 12-ounce can, whether you're drinking a beer can, a soda can, whatever your flavor of drink is. You put this puck device on, and it keeps your beverage cold. Well, I love doing the Chill Puck. I brought in the dog socially. I was plugging a Hangout. It's just, I think, video collaboration and telling stories socially, that's the way to go. And I enjoy all those products. I enjoy the people, and throwing a dog up there was just for some fun, just to see if I could pull it off. And I'm glad you caught up. You caught.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And those that are trying to create videos right now, I will tell you that if you can involve a cat or a dog, your video has a much more likelihood to go viral. Not that every video is about going viral, but if you want to really think about it, those that are listening right now and interested about video marketing, take the thought of how can I get an animal involved and maybe have them be the host, and then you kind of voice cap it. And, I think some of the most successful ones, the Angry Cat, I think is one of them, where she's, the cat's worth, 10 or $20 million off these funny little videos this curator did based on a cat. And they also show that, like, the most viral videos on YouTube are cat videos.
Yeah, it's just being able to tell the story, whatever works, and that's the thing. So it's having that visual element, and pets work. I was reaching with that, and I'll do more. I'll bring the dog back out more.
Yes,
it's all about real time marketing, right? I'm talking to the real time.
Absolutely.
But it's also bringing stuff that's relevant. I did some videos right around the Final Four weekend. I'm a big basketball guy, so I said, why not talk about the Chill Puck? And while I'm talking about the Chill Puck in the video, do my little Final Four prediction thing. So a little cross promotion, but people are hashtagging March Madness. They're watching. They're watching basketball. I love basketball. Obviously, I've said it 5 times now. But I could do a little show Chill Puck some love, show layman's terms a little love, and talk about the NCAA tournament. It's all goodness.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. And you definitely hit it on the head of talking about collaboration, because we can get into a lot more, but the simple about it is collaborating brings communities together, and that's how you found us. That's how I found you, is through Jack,
right?
And through having him on the podcast. And so now we're all connected, and we're all working for each other in a way and helping each other out. So now we're going to enter the hot seat where you can share us some phenomenal resources and some real talk answers. Be real, Doug. If you could have lunch or dinner with anyone in the entire world, living or not living, who would it be and why?
Okay, living, we brought his name up earlier off the call. I still want to get into his head. I want to get into Gary V's head.
Oh, yeah.
I want to get into his head, but I want to catch him like, he's so real and all things. I just want to catch him like real talk, one-on-one. And I want to spend a day with him. I want to shoot some hoop with him. I want to get in his head. When the cameras are off, and see the family side of him, because he hustles. That's his middle name. So that's one individual. People like that because they got a following and they're real people. Again, real talk, real outsource. Gary V. Another person, unfortunately, is not here, would be my grandfather, because he was a marketing sales guy. I didn't get to know all that. I didn't realize that there was a lot inherited from him to me, obviously, that I didn't realize at the time. So that would be somebody that, if I could go back in time and do that, those would be the two people, living and dead.
Awesome. And I hope Gary V is listening, because Doug and Gary V, I feel a session of Hoop It Up coming.
I like to. He's always talking about working out and playing ball, and I'm like, okay, let's do this. I love.
Let's go play some horse.
So it's jab, 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 right hook. I did some video promotions for that. I do some video work with a professional boxer here in Atlanta, and I thought that's great. You got a fighter talking jab, trying to get that to take off, but he's got a lot. He's a busy man.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. You never know. He does take time. So you just never know. Authentically, we are talking about him and giving him a little love. He could authentically want to come and maybe play a little Hoop It Up.
Yeah, just I would like to get him. Everybody sees him at keynotes and the videos. I like to check people out in a different environment, just see what they're all about. Yeah.
Yeah. More in that just that real setting.
I mean, every question.
Authenticity.
Yeah, every question's been asked. He's got a show called Ask Gary V. I mean,
oh yeah,
everything's been something where I always ask the question, what do we know about you that we don't know? What's not known?
Nice. I like that. That's a good one.
Try to figure that out.
So, do you have a favorite internet tool or app that you like using on a daily basis?
I'm starting to use Buffer more. Suite, and it was Tweet. I like being able to manage different streams, but those are tools, and obviously. More and more different video hosting sites, but really to keep it social, just Hootsuite, Buffer, being able to control that. Topsy's another good tool that I like that I actually heard it on your show. Jack brought it up, so I'm Topsy.
Yeah, Topsy's a good one. Topsy's a good one.
Not to, but you learn. See, that's why the power of podcasting and you asking these great questions. Now, I talked about Topsy and, maybe the checks in the mail for Topsy, but the point is, I like those types of apps. I haven't done much with, I should be because I'm a visual marketer, but these aren't tools, but things that can help leverage your videos. Bundle, I don't know if you heard of Bundle Post.
No, tell us more.
I'm just learning a little bit about it, but that's just like taking your content and your social channels and taking it to the next level. It has like artificial intelligence. So if you're, then you type in a couple keywords, different posts will come up, but it takes that and it will share pictures, it will share videos. They're been around for a little while, and I've talked to one of my business partners a little bit about it, but what I've read about it, again, I've seen a demo. I haven't used it fully yet, but that seems to be a tool that's coming up.
That sounds really cool. I'll have to check that out. Bundle Pulse, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So if you were to suggest one book to our listeners, what would it be?
A couple of books. I'm sorry, you said one.
That's fine. No problem.
You know what I like to give it to listeners who aren't socially savvy yet? And I'm sure there's people out there listening right now that, I love Socialnomics by Eric Wallman. I like the second edition because it's more relevant because it's newer. But I like Eric's book, Socialnomics. It breaks down tons of social media cases. It's easy to read. It's like a real thought provider book. So I like Socialnomics.
Nice. Now, do you have a skill that you want to master in the future?
I always want to up my game when it comes to presenting. So
nice.
So constantly, teleprompter reading. Not because I don't. My stuff is so real, which is scary. It's real and authentic. And somebody say, you need to practice a little more. But being able to, work on reading off a teleprompter, which I haven't because I'm unscripted. But if the networks were to call for me, I don't want to be reading. I want to look more engaged. So that's a tool that just takes practice.
Yeah,
I'd like to be 6'8" and be playing in the NBA playoffs right now, but I'm not.
Yeah, there you go. Drainings and threes.
Exactly.
I like it. Now, can you tell us if you could develop any new business in the world, what would it be?
I think an online virtual event business. And what I mean by that is having a business that does video marketing for live events. And
nice. I like that. Live Nation.
Live Nation type thing, but more like, okay, we got the NBA playoffs going on. You've got, the Hawks and the Brooklyn Nets playing. Maybe having virtual, taking the Meerkat and taking the small networkers doing their thing, but taking it to more of a package service. I just think we're in a world of more live streaming. I think everything's going to be about cameras. So being able to leverage a network that takes it. And we're talking like, I want to talk like the Super Bowl, have video interaction for the Super Bowl, the whole week's event. So being able to,
no,
so it's more of a concept. I don't have a business, but the idea of live streaming real time throughout the event. And look, voyeurism's hot. I hate to say it. People say you don't want to be a spy, but people like Meerkat and the people are gravitated towards that stuff. They're curious,
Oh yeah. Yeah, and people like to be entertained. Let's be real. I mean, people like entertainment. We like basketball because of the thrill of the game and the sport of it all, and the energy that comes from it. And ultimately, we like live events and music. You like seeing your favorite artist rock the stage. But if you can't be there, what's the next best thing? If you could just pop it up on your phone and watch it right there.
You talk about basketball, just kind of a real time example. When you're at a live game and they do the lineups for the home and away team, you get the booing for the away team and the cheering. When you watch that on a telecast, usually they don't have that. They go right to the jump ball.
Oh, yeah.
But when you're at the game, you feel it, man. You're smelling the popcorn, you're drinking the beer, you're scoping out the different talent out there, whatever's clever for you. You're there in essence. But hearing the buzzer sound or hearing the lineups, I'm just using basketball as an example. And I brought up basketball 8 million times. It's on my head right now. But the point is, it's just being able to have that realness. So having that, I would be intrigued to get another camera angle view. Imagine watching football with more camera angles. Being able to go online and say, you know what? And they have the now. ESPN does. I don't know if you go to ESPN online, but they got different webcams for certain sporting events. They got the spider cam and the end zone cam. I watched some of the BCS playoff games through, I didn't have cable connection. Something was wrong where I couldn't get it on the regular. So I watched the SkyCam, but I watched the view of, the quarterback dropping back to pass and how fast that is and how quick how quick they got to unload that ball and make a decision. I think more cameras, people are more entitled. People want to be more engaged at different angles, like you would live.
Right. Absolutely. And then be able to kind of navigate through that. I think that would be really exciting to be able to have, 10 different angles. You could possibly choose your favorite one.
Yeah. I want to watch the sideline view by the cheerleaders. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, why not?
I want to watch from the end zone. Exactly. So, and I think more video platforms look, people want to be engaged, and we're a society where if we're not compelled, we're clicking into something else. We're doing something else immediately. So you got to customize it to it's customized live streaming video. That's what it's called. I don't know.
Nice. I like it. Customized live stream video. And I have a feeling that things are going to be moving forward there. And I also have a feeling that people, if you guys are ready to create this next big app, you guys need to get a hold of my man, Doug Lehman, because I feel a good connection here.
Well, that's the area that I'm talking about. I love telling stories, and visually live events is kind of my passion.
Can you give us one last real talk thought, and how can our listeners get a hold of you?
Real talk, keeping it in layman's terms, leverage video. And when you do video, keep it social. And what I mean by that, it's great to put up video marketing content. Make sure that you're leveraging your social networking sites. Put it out there on Facebook, put it out there on Google+, put it out, obviously on YouTube or Vimeo or whatever video hosting. But when your video's up, that's when the work really starts. Engage your customers, tell the story, tag it, put keywords in. So put the social in your video in layman's terms.
Yeah. And how can our listeners get a hold of you?
They can find me, DougLehman.com. That's LEHMAN.com. That's my main website, DougLehman.com, or OneManHypeMachine.com, or SocialSellingVideo.com.
Well, you've been hanging out with Doug Lehman and Travis Too Tall and Huff. I want to thank you for your time and keep being real.
This podcast is proudly sponsored by RealtimeOutsource.com.